All right, so I'm going to talk about the three major types of muscle tissue. You were already introduced to this material when we covered histology, so a lot of this should be familiar to you. All three types use ATP or chemical energy to create mechanical energy, meaning movement or force. All right, cardiac muscle, as you know, is located in the heart. It's striated and involuntary and mononucleate. But what we haven't emphasized up until now is that cardiac muscle has cell-to-cell discs, interconnections between the cells called intercalated discs. Inter means between and calate means to insert. So they are locations of tissue between the cells where the cells touch. And if you look at those discs, you'll find that they're covered in gap junctions, which allows for the quick transmission of ions, electricity, through the heart. Also, you would find a lot of desmosomes because you wouldn't want the heart falling apart. Your heart is described as autorhythmic, meaning although your brain talks to your heart and might say to the heart, speed up or slow down, from a moment-to-moment basis, the heart is keeping its own pace. So once the brain says, hey, the pace you need to make is 70 beats per minute, the heart will then maintain that pace without further input from the brain. So that's autorhythmic, self-paced. You'll learn more about that in 202 when you take second semester A&P. Another thing you should know about cardiac muscle, and this is different from skeletal muscle, is that cardiac muscle is an obligate aerobic respiration organ, meaning it cannot do anaerobic respiration. So the only way that cardiac tissue can make ATP is by aerobic respiration, meaning your heart will stop if it runs out of oxygen, which is why you always see a correlation between a person stopping breathing and their heart stopping. Those are always going to be kind of coinciding events. All right, up top is an artist illustration of cardiac muscle, and at the bottom is an actual image under the microscope. Notice not too many nuclei because each cell only has one nucleus. Note that they are striated. There are stripes going across the cells, and then those dark seams are the intercalated discs. Here's another view of the same thing. So the dark seams between the cells would be intercalated discs. All right, smooth muscle is found in all of your hollow organs. They're kind of bulbous and tapered at the ends. They don't have any striations because the proteins inside of smooth muscle do not overlap in a predictable way. Therefore, you don't get the stripes. There's very little of sarcoplasmic reticulum in smooth muscle cells, and SR in other muscle cells is required for storing and releasing calcium. And because smooth muscle cells don't have much in the way of SR, they will rely on a lot of calcium being in their extracellular space, ECM, which is yet another reason why we have to maintain blood calcium homeostasis so that we can constantly bathe our smooth muscles in calcium so they have enough calcium to function. For smooth muscles, they're controlled by a division of your nervous system called the autonomic division, which basically means involuntary division. And we'll talk a lot more about autonomic action later on in the semester, so I won't spend too much time on it right now. Up left is an artist illustration of one smooth muscle cell, and to the right you can see an actual image of smooth muscle cells. Note it does in fact look smooth because we're not seeing any striations going across the cells. Here's some more illustrations of smooth muscles. All right, so we're going to focus for the rest of this series of lectures on skeletal muscle. They are, of course, voluntary and striated, and the stripes are due to overlapping of proteins called myosin and actin within the cells. All right, so if you look at A there, that would be skeletal muscle, long, organized, column-shaped cells, lots of striations. In the center, B up top, would be smooth muscle, because we're not seeing any striations going across the cells. And then upper right-hand corner would be cardiac muscle. We do see striations, and you'll note that you can see those dark seams between the cells called the intercalated discs. So as I was saying, for the rest of this series of lectures, we'll be focusing on skeletal muscles because smooth and cardiac muscle applies more to systems that you will be addressing in second semester A&P.